I mentioned previously that I had written an extra chapter for my latest book, Follow Your Dreams to Sparkle Your Soul. And I did it after publishing the book. So I had to submit an updated manuscript. I waited to approval. It's been approved. So it's updated now. I've even gone and added a little bit extra this morning as well. I'm not touching this book anymore. It's just, there's things I want to add and I want to say and I do that. But yeah, this book's laid to rest now. This is it. This is the finished article. It was worth me going back and adding these. If it couldn't have been done and if it didn't get approved, fine, it would have gone in another book later. But because I knew no one had bought the book yet, because I released it earlier than expected, I don't think it's been promoted much. I'm not a self-promoter. I don't like it. I prefer to do things natural, do it for the right reason, not for that. So I just don't like promoting. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. I'd rather just, if I'm going to talk about something, there has to be a reason for it. It can't just be to gain money or something, So me sharing this chapter, because I'm going to share the chapter now, because I thought about it. I thought, well, I could showcase part of the book, but what part do I want to show? I was going to do the first 3 chapters. That was the original plan. Just to introduce the book to people, really. And then hopefully it helps some people who, if they can't afford a book, you do that. But because I absolutely love this chapter, and I love the beginning of the book as well, I'm in love with all, makes sense. It's almost like a culmination of my writing journey, the 7th book. And I feel in terms of the writing quality, it's the best I've written. Of course, all the books have specific topics, but I'm just like, this is powerful, this is powerful, this is powerful. And I love it. I absolutely love it. So like I say, as much as I love this chapter, I could read any of the others and I'd be like, oh, that's great, that's great. I'm not doing that to boost anything. I'm really happy. And people can make their own judgments after, So I'm going to do the validation chapter because I think I wrote it as extra. Now, not everybody reads. So not everyone's going to buy my books. And I think, let's say someone isn't interested in reading. They're never going to buy my book. I'd like to at least impart something onto people, and it's like, you can at least have this. At least have this much, So that's kind of what I like to do. I like to just share. And sometimes I overshare. But I don't like the idea of just keep promoting things. Just it's not in my nature. I absolutely, it's the one thing that lets me down the most is marketing, because I just refuse. So this is sort of like the best crossover I can possibly do, because it has to have legitimacy, So anyway, let's do this chapter. It's not immensely long. I wrote it yesterday. I'm pretty sure it was yesterday. I think I said I did it. I'm getting lost with time. It didn't take me long. I did it in about an hour, half an hour now. I just quickly, because I had to rush. I had the idea in my head, and it was like, oh, I want to add this to this book. I don't want it in the next book because the next book's a completely different topic, but it could still fit if need be. But because I knew no one knew about the book yet, and I saw the analytics, there was no one had bought it yet, so I thought, just quickly get it written, edit it, and then submit it. I didn't have time to dilly-dally, This had to get done there and then, just to give it a chance. So anyway, let's get on with this. Let's do this. This is the validation chapter from... Look, I've got so many books now, it's hard to get the titles. Follow Your Dreams to Sparkle Your Soul. So chapter 14, validation. One of the weakest parts of society is the need to justify oneself and one's lifestyle, not only to those around us, but to strangers. It's baffling, and I see it so often that it's clearly a normal part of people's daily lives. Why do people feel the need to explain themselves, to validate how they live is acceptable? I'm open and transparent about my life to inspire others to exist authentically and not dim themselves for others. Pleasure. Oh, it went straight over. Oh, for God's sake. All right, anyway. Or not dim themselves for others' pleasure. However, outside of documentation, I don't validate anything to anyone. On social media, I see people comment on content targeting benefit claimants, justifying their struggles, or even flaunting their lack of work ethic and free money to inflame a narrative. It's also stupid. On the one hand, sections of society hate people who don't work or don't do what they consider traditional work, which only projects their lifestyle on others, and anything that doesn't match them wouldn't be enough. On the other hand, there are sections of society that refuse to work, accept limited financial capability, perhaps incur continuous short-term debt, and fail to repay. Yet they are stereotyped. The way I see it is that even if someone doesn't like that others don't work and it bothers them that much, then they could also choose to give up their job, reduce their lifestyle, and join the benefit system. But if they don't want to do that, it's either because they don't respect acquiring money they didn't earn or they wouldn't receive enough. Either way, that's their problem, and it's for them to make peace with their life, not worry about how others live or how they acquire money. The problem is that people are obsessed with others' lives, hating for not living the same experience, whilst never being content with themselves. Whether someone received government handouts or they work full time shouldn't have a bearing on someone else's quality of life. And if it does, that's something for them to figure out within themselves, because it doesn't make sense. I've received comments on my online content, even simple things, such as one recently on my physical media profile. Be honest, have you fully watched everything in your collection? It was an innocent enough question, but I didn't feel compelled to answer. What difference does it make to my day whether someone has a positive or negative opinion of my lifestyle and how I spend my time? Whether I watched everything I own isn't a topic I find interesting enough to debate, and certainly not worth escalating into a conversation. Yet I see it all too often. People feel the need to comment on everything they see, for good or bad. On spiritual content, I've seen so many people comment claiming fame, fortune, love, and prosperity as they are desperate for it to be meant for them. And they even go into depth about how the content aligns with what they're doing, which is fine within our own personal lives. Connecting the dots and feeling progress within. However, claiming something in a comment displays a weakness, as it reveals a lack of confidence in feeling that something is aligned without others' approval. When I see content which matches what I'm experiencing, future plans and so on, I make a mental note. But I don't display a need to tell everyone in the comments section that I'm writing books and I feel life will improve. It makes no sense. And me claiming doesn't mean the content received is any more for me than it is for anyone else. Another topic which gains a significant amount of attention is women and men hating each other, shaming and vilifying the opposite gender as the reasons for divorce and cheating. They even go as far to say they will never need the other gender for anything, which one would suggest is either trauma dumping or an overinflated opinion of themselves. However, getting involved in these conversations or allowing ourselves to be manipulated by traumatized narratives only limits us. Rather than being involved in the toxicity, I prefer to heal myself, be open to receiving a sincere love. Other suggestions that I'm not good enough or that a romantic partner would only ruin my life don't influence my decision. For the right person, I would get married. My standards are high, and I respect myself. I want to live in harmony with someone and support each other, not be rivals intent on ruining each other's lives. Whilst people spread the hate they have for each other, I seek to build a positive life for myself, and I won't need to share it to prove anything. I'll simply be living the experience, and others should do the same. Giving energy to others' toxicity is a waste of time. We can learn much about society by how people use social media, and it's troubling how many can't simply ignore something they don't agree with. It's like they have no self-control. I scroll past so much content. Either it's not interesting, annoying, or inflammatory, created for attention. Those content creators certainly know how to reel in the unhealed parts of society, while I merely scroll on, knowing that investing any time in the content, let alone engaging in back and forth comments, would be a waste of time, serving only to prove something. People who are confident with their lives wouldn't feel the need to prove anything to anyone. It's a waste of time, and most people behave in ways entertaining to them. So even honest feedback is often ridiculed or argued against because for the most part, no one listens to each other. I think part of the issue is people's lack of confidence, so they seek to justify in the hope of receiving validation that what they're doing is okay. But consider who it is we seek validation from. Most people don't care who it is, just that someone respects them. But without that, They wonder whether what they're doing is enough, so they're constantly in a state of self-defeat. If people can find confidence in themselves and comfort with the decisions they make, then there shouldn't be a need to justify anything. I don't need to tell anyone what I'm watching on TV or what I'm doing for fun, and I certainly don't need others' approval. I seek my own pleasures and entertainment and don't need someone to dictate to me what's acceptable. Until we believe in ourselves and can enjoy life without an audience, we will always be bound to others' opinions and attention to feel any sense of purpose. I have a love-hate relationship with social media, and I can say with absolute certainty that one of the things I hate most is people's need for constant validation and attention, as well as the lack of originality. So many seek to mirror each other, creating the same content and seeking the same lives, whilst I prefer to live in my own private space, away from the noise and attention. Previous eras were more enjoyable because people didn't feel the need to be in each other's lives forever, and they did their own things in their own time. There was space to grow and have unique experiences, not constantly comparing themselves to each other. If anyone genuinely wants to be happy, not the pretend happy many choose to be, then detaching from the desire to impress is the only way to free ourselves. By focusing on ourselves and living in the moment, we can blissfully ignore unnecessary noise and through that ignorance, find peace. So let's say there was a previous era we enjoyed. I particularly like the 1980s and 1990s. We can still enjoy those periods today by adjusting our lives, removing unnecessary distractions, and perhaps reducing our reliance on technology. In essence, we can't control or dictate the world around us, but we can create the life we want for ourselves. I have a physical media collection that I'm proud of, including VHS videos, cassette tapes, vinyl records, DVDs, Blu-rays and books. Streaming services have their benefits, but they also have negatives. I choose to embrace the media I enjoyed growing up, and collecting the ones I want is fun and rewarding. Without realizing it, I've already encapsulated parts of the 1980s and 1990s in my life. And the urge to detach from social media could be yet another step toward removing myself from the constantly connected period most are stuck embracing and rarely enjoying. So anyway, that's that's the validation chapter. It's something I really wanted to get across. It covered about 3 different topics when we talk about sort of employment and the way people just expect everybody else to follow the beat to their drum. You know, if you're working full time, they expect you to work full time. If you're not working, they expect you not work. It's just people just need to let people just be free. If you don't like it, tough shit. Ultimately, that's what it comes down to. Being pissed off with what other people are doing isn't going to change your life. It's just going to keep you pissed off. If you can't make peace with it, it's like you're going to just do your own head in. You literally, that's effectively what it is. We're our own worst enemy if we can't let go. It's just what someone does to your right, what someone does to your left, front, behind. It really makes no difference. All that matters is what you do with your life. Own it and just get on with it. You don't need someone to say, "Oh, well done, mate," or "Oh, you're not doing well enough." Who cares? You're either confident in yourself or you're not. It's just, it's like that's all you can do, isn't it? You're either confident enough walking this earth, doing what you feel is the right thing to do, or you're not. And if you're not, you're going to keep listening to the noise around you all the time, and it's going to influence you. That's ultimately what was bothering me in my head, to be totally honest, was this constant need that people have for answers, and it's like you don't need it. You shouldn't need it, and if you do, there's something wrong. And that's how I was unraveling it. And then, of course, in my mind, I kept harping back to the 80s and 90s where I like to be. It's just, for me, it was peaceful. It was great because there was all these advancements in technology and entertainment and things. So it was quite fast and free flowing, wasn't it? Advancing quite well. But you wasn't always connected to people like this. And I'm someone who likes my independence. So for me, having that space to self, I found it far more peaceful than this forever connected way we live now. It actually drains me. I find it really irritating. Anyway, hopefully that's served its purpose.